I'm going to read a story in parts, and after each part, I will ask some questions for us to figure out who the story is about and predict what will happen next. If I pause, I would like for you to guess the next word. One night, 3 youths, barely out of their teens, from John John, visited a Queen Street club called the Dorset. Unimpressed that this was Boise Singh's club, they began to get on bad until Boise's henchman, one Gerald Miller, a tall, dark giant of 220 pounds, known as Fire Kung, decided to get rid of them. Okay, so what country did this take place in?
Trinidad.
Correct. And how do you know that it took place in Trinidad? Okay, so you recognize the name Boise. All right. And anybody recognize any of the places? Queen Street. Okay, good. All right. Now, who is it about? Who is the story about? Do you all recognize any of the names? Were they familiar to you? Okay.
He was a criminal.
He was a criminal. All right. So, knowing that Boise Singh was a criminal, anybody can think about when this happened? Do you know when Boise Singh was around? Like what year? Around what year?
I was a little girl then, Miss.
Okay.
I think it was in the 60s.
So, what do you think will happen next in this story?
You see, that Boise Singh was a criminal. He would get himself in some kind of fight and killing and shooting or some kind of thing.
All right. So, let's listen and see what happens. Kung ran to his room and came back with a revolver in each hand. 3 dived for the stairs, but not quickly enough. Kung emptied both guns at them. Did it happen as you expected?
Yeah.
All right. Anybody thought anything different would have happened? No? All right. What do you think the fire part of Gerald Miller's nickname refers to? All right, fire in a gun, shooting. Do you think the youths will die?
I think so. I think they'll get killed.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's find out. The place was so full of smoke that you couldn't see. And perhaps this explains why all 3 survived.
Oh.
So, did the young men live?
Yes, they did.
Okay. They survived, yes, but each with a bullet in him. Nelville Bacon-Nose McLeod and Leo Lil Drum Pears got theirs in the hand. Winston Spree Simon took his in the leg and limped for the rest of his life. Now, who do you think the story is about? Those people whose names I mentioned. Anybody knows anything about them?
He used to play pan.
Yeah, Winston Spree.
Right. So apart from just playing pan, he was the creator of the steel pan. And does anyone know the organization that they were in? All right. Well, let's read and find out. Still, they were rough, and the organization they had christened a few years before went on to become the most feared in Trinidad. Then it was named after a Cary Grant and Dane Clark war movie, Destination Tokyo. And when did these events happen?
A long time.
Right, in the late 40s, this was at the start of the steel band movement. All right, so the war that was mentioned is the Second World War, which ended in 1945. So this story tells us about the early days of pan. What I would like you to do now is to turn in your pairs and take turns to share with your partner anything else you know about when steel pan started. Okay, so everybody learned about when steel pan started. Now let's start reading steel pan in your books. So you can turn to page 16 in your workbooks. As usual, we'll work with partners and everyone can take a turn to read. So one person can read the first paragraph, next person read the second paragraph, or you could switch more often. Make sure to give your partner a chance to figure out the words they don't know before you help them, or tell them the word.
Okay, class, so we just read the passage. Some of us read it more than once, twice, maybe 3 times. So let's talk about what we just read. In what year did Pans first play music on the streets? Take a quick look in your books and give me that response.
1945.
Yes, at 1945, at the end of the World War. Very good. Why is the steel pan the national instrument of Trinidad and Tobago?
Because we need it.
Very correct. Because it was created here by nationals of this country. All right, so why do you think that African drumming played a major role in the invention of the pan? Yes?
Because it has the same rhythm as the traditional African
Same rhythm,
drum.
yes.
And because the beating of the drums were banned, so they had to get something else to play.
Very good. What about you, Maisha? You wanted to say something?
I was going to speak about the rhythms.
Same rhythm. Very good. All right. So why
didn't have anything
yes,
to beat,
Paula,
so
sorry.
they had to beat
They had to
something
beat
else.
something.
Yeah.
Yes. So why do you think then that young poor people were the ones who created the steel pan?
Because
The answer is connected, huh?
Well, people could afford to buy their own instruments.
That's correct. Well, a lot of people could afford to buy their own instruments. So being poor, they had to find whatever was available to them.
So they had to use tin and cans.
Yes. Things that were freely
That they just had like
probably lying around the house.
You
Yes.
have to buy that.
Okay, and so let's get our final question. What is a good title for this passage?
The invention of pan.
The invention of pan. Yes.
Made in Trinbago.
Made in Trinbago. Yes, that's correct. A little, not quite identifying the pan, but certainly that it was made in Trinidad and Tobago. All right. So how pan started? Yes. All right. So the history of pan. Yes, the history of the birth or the early years of the development of the steel line. Excellent.